October 1993. To the white right wing, the end of the world as they knew it was at hand. The white government was negotiating a non-racial democracy with the African National Congress and the Communist Party. The Swart Gevaar nightmares of generations were becoming reality. It was the perfect climate for a right-wing boom. Paranoid whites ordered food and fuel and prepared for war. A month before the 1994 election, the right-wing invaded Bophuthatswana, the first proper armed insurrection by the right-wing paramilitaries. It was a humiliating defeat. And the man they pinned their hopes on, former SADF chief Constant Viljoen, suddenly signed a deal with Nelson Mandela and took part in the election. Contrary to all their expectations, the elections were peaceful and successful, and South Africa was engulfed in a spirit of goodwill as Nelson Mandela became the first democratic president. For the first 2 years, South Africa was living a dream called reconciliation. The humiliation of the right wing was exacerbated with dozens of right-wingers appearing before the Truth Commission, asking for forgiveness and blaming the right-wing leaders for their plight.
I started to assault him with a fist, whereafter he fell, and Mr. Smith started to kick him and jump on him. No, there was no racial hatred involved because I did not know the person. It was on instruction of the AWB.
But 2-3 years later, the euphoria of the new South Africa was wearing thin. Conservative whites felt increasingly marginalized as they saw all the symbols of power moving into black hands. A perception that Afrikaans was losing ground and that affirmative action was threatening white jobs fueled this unhappiness. But it was the steady increase in brutal attacks on mostly white farmers and the use of this phenomenon by politicians that have recently stoked the fires of dissent. And in the last few months, there have been many rumors of a new right-wing revival.
Die toestand is revolutionair, totaal anders as voor die verkiesing.
Dit is 'n onhebbelike toestand, dit kan nie so aanhou nie. Daar is natuurlik baie metodes om dit te gebruik, weerstand te gebied op alle gebiede, in ons werksgebiede. Reg op die volle spektrum is daar baie maniere om weerstand te gebied.
What we fought for during the border war, what we stood for, is those ideals are still very much alive. We can't just drop them, just because it's convenient now to forget about them.
Die verslegting van toestande in die land gaan vinniger as wat ons self verwag het.
Our first step, I can obviously, as we go along, we'll innovate and we'll make decisions, but our first step is to inform the world and rally support exactly what the ANC did, overseas against this government, and we are even asking for sanctions.
Die plofbare situasie word geskep deur die onvermoë van die bestaande regering, deur sy oneerlikheid en sy onverdraagsame kommunistiese metodiek.
The same old faces. The same old caricatures. And the same old rhetoric.
Tell the world that we are preparing ourselves to fight for that what is ours.
I do think that the conservative element of the white South African population is also trying to distance themselves from militant far right-wing groups. The history of far right-wing groups in South Africa has not been very kind. The actions of their leaders have not been very kind to fight far right-wing politics. So it's an emotional thing. A lot of people listen to the emotions evoked by these people. But when it comes to practical and leadership issues on the ground, I don't think there's a lot of credibility currently.
The days of mass rallies and public shows of force are clearly over. Does that mean right-wing support has diminished?
Te oordeel aan die navraag, aan die aansoeke en die algehele belangstelling, is die steun baie groter as wat dit was in die verlede. Daar word natuurlijk nie soveel prominensie aan die ledetal self gegee, soos in die verlede met groot marse nie.
Ons gee geen getalle daar nie. Ons openbaar ook nie mense wie lid is van ons of nie, wat baie keer word daar teen hulle gediskrimineer en word hulle geviktimiseer. Ek sal sê ons is so groot genoeg dat hulle sal moet ons in ag neem dat ons heel wat magtig is. En ek reken dat ons dit sal kan deurvoer om ons republieke vry te kry van die kommuniste af.
We are not totally alone.
We have just started forming Friends of the Boer folk all over the world.
In terms of numbers, I think it's grossly overrated. The militant right wing prior to 1994 had about potentially 5,000 armed members that was willing to act against the political change in South Africa at that stage, of which very little did. Since 1994, there was a significant decline in the numbers of armed militant support for the right wing. And I don't think that they can, at this stage, claim to have that amount of support.
There seems little chance of a right-wing extremist resurgence under the tired and discredited old leadership. But there is a new face on the horizon, a new contender for the title Great White Hope. His name was first mentioned in connection with the armed thefts at 44 Parachute Battalion in May this year, when the suspect named him as the leader of a new movement called Die Volk. Johan Niemöller is a former regional commander of the Army's Civil Cooperation Bureau in Namibia. In the Windhoek High Court inquest, Judge Harold Levy named Niemöller an accomplice to the murder of SWAPO leader Anton Lubowski.
He has been a member of the South African Special Forces in the past. He left the Special Forces long before 1994, became a businessman, had a factory that manufactured military fabrics, equipment in terms of webbing and so on. Made a lot of money with that. And he's, according to our information, quite a well-off gentleman. He also has connections in Angola, where he has got some diamond concessions. And he's a very, according to our information, a good or a supporter of Mr. Savimbi's movement.
Unlike most other right-wingers, Niemöller is a secretive man. He refused to talk on camera, but we did meet him at an elaborately staged rendezvous in this Johannesburg coffee shop. Niemöller's home is in the northern Cape town of Pofadder, but he is mostly on the move between Gauteng, Angola and the Platteland. He addressed AWB leaders at Eugene Tablan's Ventersdorp home a few weeks ago, but slipped away before our cameras arrived.
It is known that he's moving around on the fringe of right-wing politics, militant right-wing politics, that he's trying to influence the farming community, or the rural community, the white rural community in South Africa, to join up with his movement.
Is die bewus van 'n organisasie met die naam Die Volk?
Ja. Ja, ek is bewus daarvan en ek is baie bly om te hoor dat hulle ook omtrent vas op die boerefondament staan.
Is daar al enige pogings gewees om kontak te maak, samewerking te skep?
Net dat ek die leier van die beweging reeds baie lank ken. Maar daar is nog nie formele samesprekings gevoer nie.
En dis meneer Niemöller?
Ja, meneer Johan Niemöller.
Is daar enige moontlikheid van samewerking?
Ja, ek dink so. Dit sal sommer outomaties kom. Hulle streef na dieselfde doel, so dis vanselfsprekend dat ons by mekaar sal uitkom. Ek ken hom. Ek het al met hom gepraat, maar ons het geen verhouding nie. As hy ernstig is oor sy volkssaak en eerlik is oor sy volkssaak, wil ek hom met al van die beste toewens.
I spoke to Mr. Niemöller, and I don't know if Die Volk exists.
Like most other extremists, Niemöller mixes religion, fundamentalism, nostalgia for the past, and naked fear to whip up support. He's a founder of an obscure sect which proclaims the Boer folk as a chosen people with a holy identity. The Church of Remembrance aims to unite the former Boer republics into one white state called the Republic of the Orange Free State. Nimola clearly has delusions of being a new messiah. He states in the church brochure, the Boer folk would not gain its freedom through a popular democracy, but through a man of God, a man of steel untainted by negotiations. In a letter to potential supporters, he writes, "Is there someone fit to be our leader? Our task is not to search for that person. Either God will give him to us or he will not come. Our task is to shape the sword that he will need when he comes. Our task is to provide the leader with a united Afrikaner nation which is ready for him when he comes." Nimola was not prepared to talk on the record, but he sent his right-hand man.
Die persepsie is dat Johan Nimola is die leier. Maar ons werk op 'n afgewentelde leierskap. Met ander woorde, as Johan Nimola môre iets oorkom of hy verander van hart of wat ook al gebeur, is daar iemand onder hom wat sal aangaan daarmee, en as die mense so wegval, sal daar ander mense wees wat net sal aangaan.
The Nimola group chose an emotional issue to rally around, farm murders. They are using this video with old police footage of murders on white people to anger and scare conservative people into action.
Ons bevind ons nog steeds
Some of the scenes are of attacks in 1986.
Blanke man se lijk aangetref is. Dit is die volgende dag, vandag die 3 Julie 1986.
Basies het dit begin deur mense het begin ongemaklik raak toe die eerste of toe ons agterkom dat die plaasmoorde begin toeneem en dat die moorde in die stede begin toeneem en toe daar swart op swart moorde is wat begin toeneem en swart op swart aggressie is wat toeneem.
The murders reported is invariably white farmers and the criminals are invariably black criminals. So people is playing very hard on the racial card when it comes to these farm murders. And that, of course, is the ideal situation for any movement on the fringes of South African politics to start and work for a niche in the people that are feeling the threat most.
Is julle besig om spesifiek die kommandos te mobiliseer?
Nee, nie spesifiek die kommandos te mobiliseer nie, maar ek sal vir jou sê wat ons wel doen. Ons sê vir mense, kom by mekaar, kom onder 'n bevel en beheer, sodat daar eenvormigheid en sodat daar kan 'n bymekaarkoms wees van die minderheidsgroep wat ons is in die land. En sodat wanneer ons nodig het om miskien 'n protesoptrede te wil loods, wat heeltemal in ons regte is om te doen, beter kan gedoen word, want die mense is onder bevel en beheer.
Die AWB se kommandostelsel is ingestel ook met die oog op beskerming. Ek wil nie 'n stelling maak wat enigiets anders sal ontlont of ontlok nie. Maar die stelling wat ek wil maak is dat die tyd is wat my betref so kort, dat ek dink net soos die AWB is verskeie regse groeperings op die stadium besig om hom gereed te maak vir die totale aanslag van hierdie magte, hierdie polities geïnspireerde magte.
The difference between Nimola's inner circle and the so-called AWB generals is that many of Nimola's men are highly trained former SADF soldiers.
If a right-wing fringe group succeeds in getting the support of this highly skilled and trained people, they do have the potential to disrupt infrastructure, for instance, in the country.
Ons sal ons verset, soos die ANC dit gedoen het, op al die verskeie maniere wat die ANC dit gedoen het, en dit is, die formule is daar.
Was julle betrokke al by enige wapendiefstalle by militêre basisse?
Nee. Ja, ek het geweet jy sal daarby kom. Nee. As enige soldaat, spesmagte soldaat of enige soldaat wat al in die buiteland, as ek sê die buiteland, dan praat ons maar van Angola en Mosambik. Is daar lê tonne en tonne en maar tonne wapens en landmyne begrawe. En as ek 3000 antipersoneel myne uithaal, het ek genoeg springstof. Dan kan ek hierdie land in soveel chaos indompel. As wat mense sal dit nie kan indink nie. Soveel springstof is daar.
And that is possibly the only real danger of Nimola's new group, their potential to plant bombs and sow destruction. For a genuine popular leader, he is simply too far on the lunatic fringe.